This is Erin Lysak, and this is my first draft of my personal OD library. I'm calling it In the Kitchen with Erin, my personal OD library. This slide will contain my tiny URL once this is posted to YouTube. The creation of my OD library is like creating a wonderful meal. A lot of ingredients, a recipe for success, and careful preparation will result in a well-rounded organization development library. In the same way that there is always room for dessert, there is always room for a library to grow. As I continue to discover new interests within OD, as experts continue to publish new works, as changes in the field result in new studies and information, my library, like my dinner table, will continue to grow. In the same way that one must measure out ingredients to prepare to bake a cake, I have laid out my ingredients for a successful organization development library. The purpose of my OD library is to have all my resources for future organization development endeavors readily available to me. As I learn and grow as an OD professional, it will be incredibly useful to have all of my resources in one or two places: a physical location for my books and an electronic location for other resource materials. I will be leading the effort to obtain resources to complete my library. I will gather resources provided to me by my professors and cohort members, as well as those things I come across through my own personal research. Action steps for the building of my OD library include maintaining a physical library as well as the maintenance of an electronic version. I have created a Google Doc in order to keep websites, online resources, videos, etc. in one location. In order to maintain my library, I need only to continue my path to professionalism within organization development and to stay curious and engaged in the learning process. My professional goals include the improvement of retention among those employed in the hospitality industry, as well as the professional development of entry-level employees desiring management positions. Having worked in the hospitality industry for years, I am all too familiar with quick employee turnover and line-level employees never growing beyond those current roles. Professionally, I aspire to change hospitality management's perception of their own employees. My personal goals in life, including changing others' lives for the better and to feel happy and accomplished. My personal and professional goals are aligned in that improvement of employee retention and development of individuals within my industry will only change their lives for the better. Consistent employment is always a positive. If I am able to help others while accomplishing my professional goals, I will certainly feel happy and accomplished. My dream job. In beginning this course, my dream job was to become a general manager of a luxury hotel. As I've continued in my learning process, though, I've determined that I'm setting my sights too low, that I can achieve much more than general management. I've recently developed a dream job of chief operating officer of a luxury hotel chain. Interestingly enough, IHG, or Intercontinental Hotels Group, just named their very first female COO, which truthfully is what prompted me to think of that as a dream job for myself. My next role, and role is misspelled intentionally to carry on with the food theme. My next role, which I hope to obtain upon completion of the IHG Futures Leader program, is that of Director of Front Office at the Intercontinental Hotel in Cleveland, Ohio. IHG's winning ways, the value of the organization, are well aligned with my own personal values. The winning ways, the behaviors that all IHG employees should be embodying with both colleagues and our guests, emphasize teamwork and the importance of individuality in the workplace. The winning ways include doing the right thing, aiming higher, showing we care, celebrating differences, and working better together. Just as a meal is composed of many different courses, an effectively operational team is formed of many different individuals of many different backgrounds with many different skill sets. And now to move on to my emerging personal OD method, which will include a discussion of system, purpose, journey, evidence, values, and model. I'm still creating my personal OD method, though I've utilized these components to create the basis for my yet-to-be-named method. All right, so as we move on to these slides, I obviously recognize I have way too much text, but I have yet to find an appropriate manner of representing these ideas with just images. So I certainly would appreciate any feedback that anyone has to offer in regards to that. My yet-to-be-named method focuses on open dialogue. It includes the utilization of small groups composed of one person per team or department so that each sector of an organization is represented equally. The issue is presented to the group, and solutions are come to an agreement by these small groups, again, composed of one person from each team or each department within the larger body of the organization. Individuals are all given the opportunity to express their opinion in regards to situations. And because there is representation from each team or each department, optimally solutions can be reached that benefit all departments equally, and don't overutilize any one particular department or don't show an unfair advantage to any one particular department. Ultimately, a solution is determined through small focused groups that will then come together to present to the larger group, only for those solutions to be rated and to be discussed further within the small groups, so that optimally, again, every single representative from the organization has the opportunity to voice their opinions, voice their concerns, and come to an agreement or a solution that is equally beneficial to all parties. All right, so in terms of system, the who would be the entire organization or representatives rather of each team or department. In what condition might you utilize this method? It would be to develop organization-wide solutions to challenges within any specific location or an industry in general. Hospitality is obviously my focus, so that's where my mind goes in terms of creating a method. And the type of organization this would benefit would be a multi-departmental organization. The purpose, in terms of the purpose, the why is that this method is intended for separate departments or teams within an organization to solve a problem collaboratively. Again, it encourages an entire organization to work as a team in order to solve an issue. How will the organization be better off? The organization will optimally learn how to optimize teamwork as a whole or via representation from each department or team. And the result that can be expected is one decision reached with the input of all departments. All right, in terms of the journey, the steps would include breaking down into groups, again, composed of one member of each team or department. The entire group is presented with the issue that the gathering was called for. Time is allotted for groups to brainstorm, discuss, and come to a consensus regarding a solution. Each group then presents to the entirety of the large group, and each individual group is asked to rate the potential solution. The highest rated options are then rediscussed within multiple groups in order to be expanded upon further, and for more ideas to be gathered. Potential solutions are again presented to the large group until a consensus is reached in terms of the best overall option. After that point, time is allotted for groups to further brainstorm to determine the best solution. Optimally, again, everyone comes to a consensus. All right. How long? My thought initially is that this should be one full day, though I'm not opposed to the idea of it lasting over the course of 2 to 3 days so that individuals are given the opportunity to potentially go home, think further on the situation, perhaps sleep on it. In terms of follow through, that is to be determined by the solution and the timeline set in place by the organization. I believe follow through would vary greatly depending on what the issue presented might be. In terms of evidence, I need to perform further research on similar methods to see what I can potentially apply as evidence to my yet to be named method. In terms of values, simple rules include teamwork and equal representation of all departments or all teams. Core beliefs include working better together. This method will not isolate any one individual, and it will allow each voice in the organization the opportunity to be heard. The model is still something that I need to expand further upon. My dream job, the one that I can realistically obtain upon completing both my degree in the IHG Future Leaders Program, is that of Director of Front Office. This role provides the leadership, management, and vision necessary to ensure proper operational controls of the front office. This role is responsible for maintaining the appropriate people systems for the betterment of the organization, as the front office staff are the first that any guest of the hotel encounters. And Director of Front Office is responsible for ensuring financial strength through rate integrity and operational efficiency via management of costs. My ideal organization, again, that is realistic within the timeline of my graduation of the program, would be the Intercontinental Hotel Cleveland. IHG has 4 rooms, which are 4 values of the organization. Those would include room to have a great start, room to be involved, room to grow, and room for you. Room to have a great start basically states that all colleagues are given the chance to shine each day from day one. Room to be involved is that every staff member is given the opportunity to work as a team. Room to grow says that everyone is to receive the support, experience, and training needed to perform at their very best. And room for you is about recognizing, celebrating, and rewarding the people who work here. These are all values that I feel my personal values are certainly aligned with. They make me feel good to work for an organization such as IHG. Here is a link to my resume, which I will find a better way of presenting. In terms of a gap analysis, I need to find an image to represent this, but my most noticeable gap in my current competencies and the skills needed to perform well as the Director of Front Office involve financials. I don't have much of a financial background. Throughout my time in food and beverage, I was certainly responsible for helping to control costs, though truthfully, the responsibility has never rested solely upon me as it would in a director position. I need to ensure, most specifically, that I am ensuring rate integrity. I need to maintain stricter control of rates and complementary services that I offer. Most specifically, I need to ensure that I'm controlling my emotions in terms of not allowing them to interfere with my judgment. The population of guests that I work with are primarily patients of or family members of patients of the Cleveland Clinic. So everyone staying at the hotel is either ill or is related to someone who is ill. So I find myself becoming emotionally attached and often